Labour's appealing to students to make sure they register to vote by today's deadline. They're stressing that their manifesto pledge to scrap tuition fees will kick in from this autumn.
Jeremy Corbyn says he wants to lift the cloud of debt which has hung over students for too long. Joining us now from Salford is Shadow Education Secretary Angela Rayner. Very good morning to you. Looks like a lovely morning up there in Salford. I understand that you're planning to bring forward the abolition of tuition fees to this year. Now, that sounds like you're going to have to raise some money pretty quickly. How much and how are you going to do it?
Well, we estimate that it will be around £9.5 billion based upon the student loan company, how much is given to universities in order to ensure that we can abolish tuition fees. And we think it's the right thing to do. We've said that we'll start it from this year to not discourage students from deferring, from going to university, but we want to make sure that every student, and it will affect 400,000 students, that will be able to go to university and won't have this arbitrary cap on their education through fees. Our National Education Service will make sure that the British workers will have the skills that they require to make sure that Britain is great in the world of the economy.
Some might say that this isn't necessarily the right priority for you, that there's no evidence that tuition fees are putting off disadvantaged groups, those that you might hope to represent, going to university. £9.5 billion perhaps could more usefully be used elsewhere. Are you actually proposing a policy that helps middle-class students?
Well, I think the policy helps all of us, because when people have those education and we can get our British workers having those skills, we can get doctors, nurses, our scientists, and they've got that education, then I actually think that helps everybody. And since 2010, 71% of state school children used to go to university. Now that number is at 62%. So I actually do think that fees have been unhelpful. And I think this is the right thing for us to do. And that's why I'm proud to introduce this policy. And under Labour, the National Education Service will ensure that we invest in our people and make sure that they've got the jobs for the future. And this will help our businesses as well, alongside the regional business, regional banks that we're creating. Small and medium enterprises in Britain will have the skilled workforce and the infrastructure to ensure that in the global market we play our role.
Although, apparently, according to Full Fact, in 2016, the entry rate for 18-year-olds living in the most disadvantaged areas increased to the highest on record. So there are facts which show that the disadvantaged are not being put off by tuition fees. Again, I'd say £9.5 billion would be a useful amount, for instance, to put into the NHS or social care.
Well, we've said that we'd put £8 billion into social care. We have a fundamental package on social care which is not about taking people's homes from under them, but actually about investing in our services. And I think it is the right thing to do. We've also committed to bringing back maintenance grants, which is a lifeline for disadvantaged students getting into university. So what we want to do is invest in Britain's future and ensuring that all children have those opportunities. And I think it's the right thing to do. At the moment, we're saddling our students with, £45,000 worth of debt as they leave university. Many of them are spending years and not able to pay this debt back. We think that's the wrong priority for government, and we think post-Brexit that's where we should be investing in our businesses and in our people, and that will be what makes Britain great.